We are live. What's going on,
Good
Jennifer
morning,
Lacey?
Jesse. How are you?
I am fantabulous. I wonder how
Good.
the people are out there in the omniverse. And so I see you got a new studio. What's going on there?
I have a new background because I have a new space. So
Mm.
I'm still navigating some of it, but last week, I can't, my weeks are all running together. In the last couple of weeks, I moved into a new house.
Yep.
And so it changed where my office type space was. And so this is me getting things a little bit back to normal. But yes, I do like the background. So I think I'm just going to keep the background.
I like it. It looks good. It looks real good. Awesome sauce. Well, today we are talking about how to honor yourself.
Yes. And but also I got to hang out with you this week.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
in
you were
person.
down in San Antonio. How
I
was your
was.
trip?
Yes, it was good. So I was up there because we had a lot of things. Had some work stuff, had some personal stuff. My daughter was performing, and then we got to connect and hang out and go to the Riverwalk and hang out with some friends and stuff like that. So no, it was awesome. It's always good when we can kind of tag team in video, but also in person.
Yes, yeah, no, it was a good time. I got to hang out at I don't know, I'm going to call it grand opening at the new Robbins and Morton
Yes.
office, and got to meet all the people there, catch up with a bunch of folks, and then go goof off on the Riverwalk for just a little bit. Man, I
Yes.
ate too many tortillas,
Oh
Jen.
my gosh. The chips were so good too, though.
It was good. It was good stuff. Um, so that was exciting. All right.
Okay.
Well, we are going to talk about how to honor yourself, and like that sounds really fancy,
It does.
uh,
In a way, like,
right?
okay, what does that
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. And
I
so
guess
you
he
and I
just
have
needs to
had
take
this.
a shower, and that's he's honoring. So,
Yes, I have honored me and everybody around me because I showered. Um, but really, you and I've had like this. It's been kind of an ongoing conversation between you and I about the things that we get ourselves into that like maybe not maybe that steal our freaking energy or that really are like super energizing. For me, I think calling it the things is easy. It's more comfortable, but the reality is that for me, it's the people, right? Like
yep.
when I'm doing stuff, who am I doing it with? Um, has a big impact on my energy and all the other things. And so the idea here in terms of like how to honor yourself, at least from my perspective, Jen, is what are we saying yes to and what are we saying no to?
Yes.
Who are we saying yes to and who are we saying no to? Um,
And getting clear on that, and getting clear on the like, what are those parameters? Because I mean, you and I talk, and like our purpose is to serve. We are aligned on that 100%. And when we want to serve, sometimes we don't realize that there's things we have to say no to because we
yes.
want to help. We want to, make things better. And sometimes it can pull us in so many directions that then we're not even in a place where we can maximize our value.
Yeah. And so the really important thing about this conversation is I think I'll say it this way. For me, it was difficult. It took a lot of work and a lot of stinky experiences for me to even get clear, like, oh, it's because I'm saying yes to everything,
Yes.
which is fun and exciting because I like to run and play and do stuff. Like you said, I like to serve, but the back end of it, or maybe the leading, the actual thing and the follow up sucked. And I'm like, man, like this isn't what I was. This is not why I'm doing it. And what's happening is there's other things that I'm not doing. And so now I spend a lot of time in my head, so I've been able to get clear about, okay, what are the indicators? What are my conditions to say yes or to say no? And I think for the tribe out there, it'll be super helpful to at least get into this conversation and start thinking about it. And I also want to say, this conversation has to be deeper than the cute phrase of no is a complete sentence, because I agree, right? And still people suck at it. And so it's really more about like getting clear on your direction, getting clear on your purpose, so that no is it's not as controversial as it has been. Does that
Well,
sound like too much?
No,
off?
well, for me, it's also, and this is a struggle. And I don't think I'm the only one. It's like, where is the line of like you're being selfish versus like you're protecting yourself and you're honoring yourself and you're doing it to be able to help those around you versus, well, that's selfish because now I'm like I'm having to like say no to things that also could be an opportunity, but also it drains me and I'm not able to perform the way that I need to perform.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm just gonna say it. Like for me, yeah, I'm being selfish on purpose, damn it. And I'm okay with that. So look, we got two troublemakers out
Come on,
there.
come on, come on.
We got Mr. Jim. He says, good
Yes.
morning, No BS Tribe. Here for now, but the grandkids soccer. Okay, so the game's gonna be kicking off. Thank you, Mr. Jim. You're not on the deck today. We got Mr. Clyde King. What's up, Clyde? He says, good morning, everybody. And then we got Miss Laura, who we got to hang out with here. She flew on the corporate jet. I'm waiting to see those selfies and videos on TikTok, Laura. Come on, girl. All right. So before we dive into it, Jen, you want to let them know the housekeeping rules
Yes.
here?
So if you're out there and you're listening and this is your first time joining our live stream, so we just came across your feed and you're like, what are these knuckleheads doing? And we would like to know more. Or you've been out there and you've kind of joined us before, but you haven't really engaged in the conversation in the chat. Our ask of you is if you will just put a blue heart. If you're not quite ready to jump in, you kind of want to put a toe in. If you'll put a blue heart in the comments, it will allow us to know that you're there because we don't know that you're there unless you comment. And so it does a couple things. Number one, it lets us know you're there so we can recognize you. It lets our tribe know you're there so that they can connect with you and engage with your content. And it also, if you put any comment whatsoever, even an emoji, will add you to the randomizer. And Jesse, what's the randomizer?
The randomizer is the little, I don't know, what do you call it? Raffle thing. So at the top of the hour, I will hit the button and Jen's going to do the sound effects for the randomizer. And the person that gets picked will get a free pass, 1 month pass to the Cultivation Crew and Emotional Bungee Jumpers, which that next week is the Cultivation Crew. We're going to be kicking off having direct conversations, which I'm excited. And so again, when you comment, if you're a lurkers, we love you, but come out of the dark just for a little bit. There's a little bit of an incentive there for you. But anyways, it gets not only, it kind of expands the experience of being a part of this community, but also doing some learning and some skill building with the Emotional Bungee Jumpers and the Cultivation Crew, which is super, super fun.
Yes.
And because I'm so far behind, there'll be 3. So Heather Jones won. I haven't sent her the invite. Abbas won last time. I haven't sent him the invite. And then whoever gets picked today. So there's a good
3
chance
new ones.
we'll have 3 new ones
Nice.
this month, which is always super, super awesome for everybody, which I'm excited about. So drop your comments in there so we could know that you're alive and that you know that you're watching us. All right. So we have one question, Jen.
To kick them off.
We have several of them, but here's one to kick on. So this one is for you guys, No BS Tribe, all you folks out there on the interwebs. When was the last time you said something yes to something that you instantly regretted? And yeah. So I want to be clear how thoughtful we are to take care of you guys out there, the No BS Tribe. We didn't say who did you say yes to, and it's
not at all. Yeah,
we said
just the scenario.
When, right? Yes. When was it? This way, there's no evidence, and hopefully, you'll live beyond the statute of limitations with your response. But when was the last time you said yes to something you instantly regretted? I've been racking my brain here, Jen. So if you could start while I think of what the last time I said yes to something I instantly regretted. Do you have one?
I think for me, and it's the word instant, because for me, it doesn't usually happen to where I'll say yes and I'm like, why did I do that? That doesn't usually happen because I'm doing a lot of things. So I'll make a commitment to that. That's fine. That's next month. Or I'll make a commitment to that because right now I know I'm free for that. So I'm pretty good at in the moment. Oh, that I can make that commitment. And so, so I'm not going to say it's an instant regret, but,
Yeah.
And so about a month and a half ago, somebody reached out and were like, "Hey, we'd like for you to come speak and be a part of, this event." And in my mind, all I heard from them was like, "It's a virtual event." And for me, that eliminates a lot of barriers because I don't have to get on an airplane. I don't have to like block out my schedule for 2 to 3 days. And it was like an hour, like a webinar or something like that. It was something very minimal. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's easy. And it's a new group and it's, somewhere not where I live. So it's like new people I can connect with. So I'm like, absolutely. Now, let me give you a little bit of, this was also like a month before Congress. So at that point, I'm like, this is after Congress. This is like after Congress, I am wide open. And then, say yes. And then I like continue to focus on the things that are in front of me. And then when I get done, I'm like, I'm done. I checked that box. I did what we needed to do. We set the records. We did everything so great. And then I'm just like, I'm good now. And then, and this is all on me. And then across my feed in LinkedIn, I see this beautiful post celebrating me speaking at an event that I completely did not even like have on my radar, because in the moment I was like, not giving it any other thought. And so I had to like let other people know, like, oh, by the way, I made this commitment. So it like regret, I'm still excited about and it'll be great. But for me, because I want to say yes, and I want to be able to reach and connect to as many people as I can in organizations, and it's about lean. So it's like, absolutely, because then I get to talk about lean in other spaces and help them understand respect for people and how are we doing better with mental health and all those things. Like, that's my happy place. And so that's a parameter I usually use. And I still was like, oh, Jennifer, like, come on, you got to do better. You got to at least like do a little bit of what does your world look like in that frame and stuff like that. So that's a long way to say it wasn't an instant regret, but it was also, I'm not very good at saying no.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a really important point in that if we're not, I'll say it this way, when I was not aware of like the commitments I already have, I would get myself into trouble, and I wouldn't regret necessarily the experience or the work associated with the thing. I would regret the time pressure I put on myself because I said yes, not understanding or taking into account all the commitments I already had going on. And so now I used to do that a lot. Of course, I have a super fancy first time mastery system that you can add, hey, I mean, I have some rules in place. Like if you ask me to do something or be a part of something after Sunday for that week, the likelihood of me saying no is like 90%. Because why? Because I already have my week planned out.
And I've got some rules. I think you've helped me with some rules with that class that we're going to talk about today that completely changed the way that I work and function. So
awesome. And that's the point, right? Like part of it, I think it's an important part is, do you have some rules that help you say no, or at least make sure you're not overcommitting? Mm-hmm. The other part is sometimes you say yes, and the expectation of what the individual has is ginormous compared to what I thought the expectation was, which takes me to mine. And I had the same issue about stuff that I instantly regret. Like my challenge is instantly, the word, because I don't instantly regret stuff much anymore as I used to. But there has been regret. And so for me, I would say it was about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. I say very similar. Got invited to like, hey, I want to do a live show. I want to do You want to be part? Like, yeah, sure, I'm in. I thought I was going to get to show up and flash my pearly whites and have fun. No, I had to brainstorm and schedule and send out like, this is not what I expected. This is a way
uncommunicated expectations.
Uncommunicated, right? They had some, I had some, and it never came out of my mouth, which of course that informed me going forward. And I mean, Armando is not with us anymore, but soon after that, Armando invited me to be on the live. I said, I will participate on one condition. He's okay. What's the condition? I said, I don't have to do more than 3 clicks to be a part of it. He's like, sure, cool. And then, we were having the conversation and he's like, hey man, I was like, dude, if I use those 3 clicks now, I ain't going to use them to be on the live stream. Which one do you want? He's like, oh, you were serious. I was like, I'm dead serious. Like, I don't have the time to do all of this extra stuff. I'm in. And so again, the filters or the parameters came from a prior experience that's like, oh, wait a minute, I need to get clearer. Some people might be more comfortable asking for the expectations or what the conditions are. I'm on the other side of that. I have my preset conditions and expectations, and that's what we're going to talk about whenever I get invited. So, and that's helpful.
If you want Jesse apart, be ready. If you want to invite Jesse in, don't show up and just not have anything ready to go, because he has his stuff solid.
Like, I'm okay if it's gonna be messy, we're gonna have fun. I'm fine, but like, if you want me to play, like, let's get clear about what the hell the point is. And so we got some comments from the tribe. So we got our brother, Mr. Brian Melcher, coming in from Phoenix. Yeah, he says, Mesa, Arizona, tuned in and immediately hit with that question. Yes, it's a good question, right? Think about it. If you got an answer, drop your answer. And then we got Mr. Clyde King. He says, man, last month got pressed into a timeline that I didn't agree with. And I was right. The stress and such and the crews couldn't make that rush deadline. So it made me look as bad as well as the crew. All right. And so, I mean, that's kind of the really, really, thank you, Clyde, because that's like a super, super real situation that a lot of us deal with, not just in construction, but some people commit us to stuff that's unreasonable. And then we agree under duress. And then it creates this situation where because I'm the leader, I end up creating a situation where we all fail because I didn't challenge or whatever the case may be. But it's a reality. It's a really, really tough thing. So I wonder, Jen, if you were to guess percentage wise, what percentage of people do you think say yes because they want to be polite? They don't want to be rude.
I would say a larger percentage, because I know I've been in that position where it's like, yes, and I want to add to that. I think it's the yes and. And it, to me, it's where you are in your career, because this is early in my career, as I was coming into construction, and I didn't have a strong background in construction. My yeses were, I'll figure it out, because I didn't want to get dismissed. I wanted to be able to be a part of the conversation, and it also forced me to learn. So to me, sometimes your parameters are not, you're just not going to, like, if you're early in your career, you're not just going to go, here's my parameters and this is what it is for like, they're adjusting as you go. Because early on, by me saying yes, it was not so much polite. It was a little selfish, like, yes. And then I went and did a lot and did a lot of learning, but it also helped my career, because I was learning and doing things that I didn't just, it's almost like the ones that's like, hey, we need you to come dig this ditch. That's not my job. But it's almost like by doing some of those things, it builds your reputation and your credibility and your value and things like that. So it's, to me, depending on where you are in your career, early on, my yeses weren't so much to be polite. It was that they don't know. And so if I say yes and I figure it out, then they'll never know that I didn't know. So I think there's some parameters. And then obviously now later on, because there's a lot of asks, it's getting super clear on what am I committing with those yeses versus it being a more personal learning opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent point, right? Because yes, depending on where you are in your career or in terms of like your status and influence within an organization, it could be a very strategic move to say yes and overcommit yourself, right?
Yes.
Like 100%. Now, on the other side, here's an interesting thing, because I get to have a lot of these conversations with people. They're burnt out, stressed, and they're like hating life. And it's like, okay, well then, how many no's are you saying? Well,
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so you gotta make a decision. And again, this is just my thinking, which in Jesse land, it's not. There's no mommies in Jesse land. And so if you hate your life, say no more.
Yeah.
Well, then I might not. Okay. So keep saying yes and keep hating your life. Like, it's not that hard.
It's the fear. It's that unknown fear, that fear that you're creating, that you have no idea what's on the other side of it. But just because the maybe on the other side of that fear is making you say yes to things that is killing you.
Yes. And all you got to do is say, I'm not. Here's one cheat code I did. That I'll share with the tribe. And all bosses ask this question. So this is like a universal cheat code. I had a boss who would always ask me, Jesse, what do you need from me? Is there anything I can do for you? And I would always say, no, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. And then my team was like, Jesse, you're saying like we're getting all the new freaking projects. Like we're strapped. And I'm like, why do they give them all to you? I'm like, oh, it's because I say yes. So the next time my boss asked me the question, he said, hey man, all right, Jesse, what can I do for you? How can I help you? I said, man, here's what you could do for me. The next big initiative that comes through, can you give it to one of the other regions? Because we're strapped. We've gotten the last 5 or 6 just here in my region, and my team is like a little bit underwater, and it feels like we're getting like favoritism here. He's like, and that's the best no I've ever heard. And so it was just that, like, okay, hey, is there someone else that can take that on because I have this? Mm-hmm. And if they say, no, it has to be you, well, then this wasn't a question. This was a directive. And let's just get clear about that. But I think the point, what I want people to like really anchor on is to what you said, is you don't know. If you've never said no before, you don't know if it's going to be awesome or a disaster. Mm-hmm. And that fear is going to keep you trapped in your problem. Test the waters by saying no, and then maybe you'll find out, right? Like I promise. If one no gets you fired, that's good. You don't need to be working with those people. Correct. Anyways. Bottom line. Oh man. Okay. So we got some.
And I let me add to that, because I know we have some stuff. I want to, and what I've learned and I've watched a lot of times, the yeses, like in your story is a great example of like the new initiatives, and you're like it's a dopamine rush of like, mm-hmm. I'm the person, they're coming to me and I want to say yes, because then like it's like an addiction almost, right?
Yep.
And so we say it, and if we're in positions of authority, we're saying it, and most of the time we're not the one doing the work.
Yes.
And so it's like, it's the rush of like the recognition, and even, oh, my team's going to be recognized and we're going to get to all these things. Yes. And like, are you still overcommitting because you're not the one that's doing all the heavy lifting? Like, things to think about.
100%. Yeah. 100%. All right. So we got some people. We got Miss Maggie Erickson. She
Good
says,
morning, Maggie. Maggie's from Clemson, and she is over their innovation lab, and she is doing some amazing things. And thank you, Maggie, for joining us. She's Blue Heart.
So, Blue Heart.
Yes, she's definitely Blue Heart.
Warm Maggie, everybody.
First time typer this morning.
I like it. Then we got Miss Izzy. What's up, sister? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, she's the coolest. And then we got this rock star who, Megan is going to be like my answer or my case study to some of the questions that we're going to be going over in terms of like this idea of honoring yourself and what to say freaking hell yes to and what to say no to.
Yes.
She falls in the hell yes bucket. Good. And then we got Mr. Brian. He came back. He says, I've got it. I said, okay, as we left the house to go to my brother-in-law's step-grandson's 2-year birthday. Hang on. Birthday party, didn't have time. And at this point, they're barely even family. That's a phenomenal example. Like right there in the moment. Sure. But and so I actually, that brings up Princess Kim taught me this one.
Okay.
And it I don't use it anymore because I kind of like I have my system for planning and all. Like I already know no, it's gonna be no period if you don't ask me before Sunday. But the cheat again, this is like a comfortable one, so that you don't necessarily have to say no.
Okay.
Is let me check my calendar. Right? Like you get an invite to something, man, that sounds great. Let me check my calendar, which pauses me in the moment or you in the moment to like, let me at least look at it. Kind of like the deal you were talking about earlier. Like, I'm interested. Let me look at my calendar, which gives you some buffer to get that dopamine, the excitement to kind of wear down and get back to reality and then say, ooh, like, no, but we can't go pick up the kids because we got that's a 45-minute drive one way. That's 90 minutes round trip. La la la. That's what my brain does. So, anyways, just a cheat code to help us get there.
I got a question though, Jesse. I want to ask, and it kind of falls in the moment, thing.
Yep.
And maybe you have a cheat code, because what do you do when you're in person? So you're in a space where you get to have face-to-face conversations, which you and I very much value those conversations. Do you have a cheat code in that moment to not make someone not feel important, but also that you don't have time to like have the conversation you want to have because you don't have time because you either have another obligation or you're trying to do something. But in person, when people come up to me, and this is a personal, people come up and they make the effort to come and introduce themselves and tell me like, hey, I have a question, whatever. Like I want to give them all my time and attention.
Yes.
And there's times where I'm in a place where I can do that. And then there's times sometimes because of my obligations, I can't. And like, I end up doing it anyway, and then it hurts my obligation versus, is there a cheat code on like, yes, and let me something so that they're important, but I can't do it right now?
Yes. So there's two things, like in the moment, like with the sidewinder, hey, man, like, man, I don't have a, so maybe there's three.
Okay.
So one is if I get a random call, like an unscheduled call, or like an unplanned, like bumping into somebody at a something or other, like, ooh, I'm gonna really want to talk to this person. And I know I already have a commitment on the board. Right out of the gate, hey man, I gotta be here. I got this many minutes. And we can follow up later. I want to give you all my time, but I got to do this thing. So that's clear right out of the gate. Hey, I have this other thing, so that they can filter and say, okay, well, let's plant these seeds and then we can go for it. So that's one. The other, like that's cheat code number one, just because I know my time, because I obsess about it.
Just be honest. Like just say it up front. Like, hey,
right out of the gate.
Right now, I don't have the time, and I want to make sure that we are able to do this. So let's look. Okay.
Yeah, I got 9 minutes. Hit me with what you got. I'm not going to be ready to respond, but I got 9 minutes. And then that kind of sets the stage. In other situations, it's like, okay, can we walk and talk? We're not going to finish this conversation. So is this an ask, or do you want to catch up? Right? Because like, what are we
on what it is? Yeah, get clear.
What are we doing right now? Because again, like it feels uncomfortable. And I'm going to go to the third because Brian he answered the question before you asked it. But right there in the moment, it helps people understand, he's not being a butthole. His brain is.
And that's my biggest fear is like, oh, she's too big for this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like that's my biggest fear.
Yeah. And so for clarity, I don't tell people I'm really busy.
Right.
Right. I don't tell people, yes, I have a few minutes. I'm very clear. I got 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got to get on to the next thing. And then at that time I say, hey, it's time. Let's get back together.
Yeah.
And then the others like, hey, are we catching up, or is this like something for real? Like, that we really need to, I need some critical thinking for, because I got to be prepped for the next thing. So those are 2 cheat codes that I do. Now, the third cheat code is a longer term game. And I'm going to put it up as Brian's evaluation. Man, now nobody could see my beautiful face, but so Brian says, I'm listening and worry that you sound like your rules make you inflexible. I agree. I would clarify that when you have shown up for us at Field Verified, which is awesome group of people, by the way, you are easygoing and flexible. I see now that your rules that protect your future time give you confidence and calm to be in the moment, because you don't have other commitments looming or causing stress while you are in the moment. And that's the game. Like, that is, thank you, Brian, for that observation. It just signals to me that it's working.
Okay. So what I heard, so what I just heard, what you said and what Brian said, and I literally just had an aha moment, is I want to give you the time and attention that I feel is important, and I can't do that right now. Like a
100%.
very easy, let's schedule some time, or let's do whatever, but it acknowledges them and also lets them know, like, hey, this is important enough that I don't want to just really quick surface touch base and go, because I know, yeah, I love that.
Right. And so I'm like, back to kind of the point that he made, like, my system sounds super rigid. It is, right? Like, I have very clear rules.
Yeah.
When I plan my week out, I have a limit of 7 things that are going to be on my calendar every day, period. Why? So I do that on Sundays. Okay, what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I got my 7 things planned, so that when another thing comes up, I could say no, I don't have time to do that this week. And then I can always go back on my no, but that rarely happens, because I also know that my limit of having 7 things on my calendar leaves enough space for me to entertain the one or 2 things that come off. And like, even more importantly, when I am at the things that I'm committed to, I can be there 100%.
Yep.
And so, for example, when I went and did the training, I got some more to do with Field Verified. When I'm there, I don't have a meeting right before, I don't have a call right before start time with them, and then a couple of calls right after start time. I don't fly in at 5 o'clock in the morning, rush in to like, no, I fly in the night before, show up at the thing. I don't have a packed schedule when I'm interacting with them. Why? Because I built in space to have those really, really meaningful, in-depth conversations. If you ask me on Sunday or Tuesday to show up at a thing on when, even my mom knows this. Like, if she asks me, hey, can you take me to the bank today? She already knows the answer is no. Like, no, I can do it tomorrow or Wednesday, maybe. But if you ask me Tuesday or Wednesday and I fit you in, you're going to get a rushed version of me. And whoever that you're fitting in before or after, they're going to get a rushed version of me. And so my system that's very rigid helps me be present and flexible to the people that are in the room that are in front of me right now. It's the same thing as why I don't answer my phone and say, hey, can I call you back? If I'm on the phone with somebody, guess what? Whoever's calling, I'm not answering because I want to give the person in front of me the deepest connection as I possibly can. Now that happens because of my rules. What do you think, Jen?
Well, I have so many thoughts right now. One is, do you have you have all these parameters? You have like a Jennifer buffer. Like, I'm going to be hanging out with Jennifer, and I've just got to block out like mornings and nights because she's going to pull me into some BS. Like, that's a question anyway. But the other is, I love that. Like, you're creating buffers, but you're still putting parameters. So like, you still have, this is what I'm limited to. So if I'm trying to pull you into a commitment, you're like, I can't. But you have enough flexibility, and this week was an example because I want Jesse to be a part of a lot of things sometimes, and he's just like, I can't do it. Like, I just can't, and I don't take any of it personal, because I know his system and I know how he works. But I also know that if he does have flexibility, hence like, hey, let's go have dinner on the Riverwalk, and like no part was that part of the plan, but like you're able to navigate through it. And I think part of it too is the very open communication, and that it's not my feelings got hurt because you said no to something. And I think that's an important part that I like. We get our feelings hurt and we go and we sulk, but like nothing was ever communicated.
Right. Yeah. And so on that point, I had to build, and this is what I recommend for everybody, is like you need to get clear about what is important and meaningful to you, and like embrace that, man, because you're right. Like if I had something early in the morning after whatever it was, Wednesday or Thursday, when we went to the open house and then to dinner, I would have said no. Right. But I didn't have anything super early in the morning. So like, okay, it's going to be late. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Had I had something on the calendar, I would have said, Jen, like I could do the open house, but I can't do the dinner. And I'm not excited about that, but it's okay, which I think is going to feed into our next question, right? Because that's really, for me, a matter of who I say yes to. Yeah. Right? Because I know that you're not going to assign it any more meaning except for the fact that I have other, like, I can't do it. Yeah. I'm not going to do that because I have other things to do. Whereas there's other people in my life that they will assign more meaning to it. I'm mad at them. I don't like them. Like, and just make it hairier than what it really is. It's like, no, I have other things to do. Which again, that is part of my go, no go criteria, right? It is a part of honoring myself. Who do I spend time with? Who do I share time with? It's not a big list, because some people make unreasonable requests and have no regard for the fact that I have other things, and they take it very personally. Like they take it as an outright rejection or passive aggressive way of me trying to communicate something. I'm like, that passive aggressive is not me. I'm just going to tell you. I had two things, Jesse. Number one is, how many times, I want y'all to think about this, those that are listening, how many times when someone asks you something, let me see if I can make it work. If that is something that you say, and I did that for the longest time, and then I'm like looking, and if I schedule this and I move this, whatever, like if that is your default, if that is what you're trying to do, you're doing too much and you're trying too hard. Because when I shifted, it was a game changer. Because number one, I'm like, ooh, it's because of who's asking. Like I need to try to adjust. I need to try to make it work. I need to try to fit it in. And they're just another human trying with a calendar. And so when I like shifted my mind to being able to respond, and there were two very big ones. Like one was I had a dentist appointment during a time that somebody needed a meeting. And my first reaction was, well, maybe I can move the dentist appointment. And it was a moment where I was like, oh, and I'm just like, Jennifer, just tell them, no, I can't because I have a dentist appointment. And literally the response was, no problem. We'll do it another time. What about this time? And it was like one of those where I had to like think about it. And then another time, which was to me way more impactful, was that, and this is more personal for us, is I had a training class. I have two examples. I had a training class this past week for new hires, which I do all the new hire training for our stuff. And it was during when I needed to travel to San Antonio for all the stuff. And so I was like, okay, so my first thought is, okay, if I get on this flight and I do this, and then I'm literally trying to maneuver the travel. And then I went, well, let me just make an ask, because, and I said, hey, can we move the training class back one day? Yep. It was like a month out. And they're like, let me check. Yeah, it's available. Yeah, we'll move it. So like, it's the examples of like, sometimes we don't even ask. And so the biggest one for me was, because I do all the new hire stuff, I had a new hire class on the day of Buddy's funeral. And I'm literally navigating in my brain how to like, whatever that needed to be, which I didn't need to be thinking about.
and I'm on a call with someone, and my first thought is, I think, and it was good that the other person recognized it, because there's like, Jennifer, we will take care of it. So it's like, also like, and that's, I mean, all of that is on me. None of that is on like all these pressures and all the expectations, and I'm worried about, no, none of that was, it was me trying to do it because it's my job or it's important to me.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you said that. And I'm just going to make an obnoxious statement that most of my friends, the people that I know that are irritated with all the shit that they got to do, it's because of them. It's not because of the other people.
Yes.
It's because you keep saying, trying to contort yourself into some doing gymnastics and twisties and turnies to make everything fit.
Yes.
Because you've never said, hey, can we move it? Can we do it on a different day? Can we rearrange this in some way? Like, just ask that question.
Yes, just ask the question.
And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, like, sure, we can, yeah, would this work? Oh, awesome. Instead of you doing all the mental gymnastics to make it fit.
And then get mad about it, and then be complaining about it to someone else when we've never made the ask. And it's not always 100% going to be able to be moved, but like, life is like that. And everyone else seems to have the flexibility. Like, why don't we?
Right. It's because we're the ones that are torturing ourselves. I have found the enemy, and the enemy is me. All right. So we got some good comments, Jen.
Okay.
Man, this conversation is quite a bit deeper than I expected. All right. Miss Izzy, Melissa says, this is a cheat code, folks. So again, if you're out there and you're like lurking, we love you. And if you have some cheat codes, drop it in the comments, because like, that's the super, super valuable part here, is that we, Jen and I aren't like the experts here. We're learning from you as well. And then all the other tribe members that come in and catch the replay, they'll get your cheat codes. And as one of us grows, we all grow. And that's the whole damn point of community. So back to Izzy. She says, I tell the people in the moment that I don't have the time right now to be intentional and focus on this conversation. Perfect, right? I don't have the time to show up the way I want to show up right now. Is it okay if I message you to set a focus time together? Like, that's very respectful, very thoughtful, not as abrasive as me. And I think that's a perfect framework, right? Right now, I can't give you everything you deserve. Is it okay? Permission. May I set up a focus time so we can really get into it? That's gangsta level. So thank you for that, Izzy. We also got Mr. David. David says, just joined the call 10 minutes ago. I need to hear this because I very much need to tell people when I can't drop everything at the moment. They want my attention all the time. Yeah, man, it's a discipline thing. It's uncomfortable, but super. And David, by the way, he was our champion for Megan and I, more Megan than me, because I was just comedic relief. So David, thank you for joining the live stream. And then we got some troublemakers saying hello. You know this troublemaker?
I do. I knew he was another. He was one that was at Congress and was sorry.
That's okay.
But he was at Congress, and he again made tons of connections. But he's another one that he's everywhere. So I hope this conversation helps him a little bit.
Yes. And we also got Learn About Construction coming in from YouTube. I think I know who that is. And Mr. Byron, he says, good morning, folks. And then hang on, we got another. We got some massive comments. There he is. Mr. Byron said, good morning, good people. Eugene Mason drops some wisdom in. What's going on, Mr. Eugene? He says, personal responsibility, taking your power back. And I'm going to double down on that, because it is not everybody else's fault. Or let me say this a different way. When I decided that it was all my fault, all of a sudden things started changing. Before that, when it was everyone else's fault, it stayed the same. Mm-hmm. I was frustrated, irritated, disappointed, grouchy all the time. And it was never going to change, because when that's everybody else's fault, they have different objectives and interests. They don't care. So What did we miss, Jen?
Well, I feel like we've gone all over the place. We did. And so again, this is all good content because it may follow up another conversation. But I think the
100%.
cheat codes are good. But I think what I took from most of this is a lot of the stuff that's going on in our head isn't real. And so like we are planning 10 steps down the road and how this is going to impact our career. We're not going to be able to pay our mortgage, and our kids are going to hate us. Like that's literally where we go instead of, hey, can we move this meeting? I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that's what we do.
Yeah, we catastrophize before even thinking about maybe I should ask. Oh, look, here's another cheat code. Miss Maggie says, I start with, I'm so glad I bumped into you today. Then let's connect when we both have time. Pleasant.
There's so many
nice.
good ones. Like I'm taking so many of these because
yeah, you got to write these down, put them in your back pocket. Because just like what you were talking about, right? Like we create the catastrophe in our head. But really what it is my discomfort of not being able to be with the person.
And be direct and say what we need to say without like getting, not even like worried about hurting somebody else's feelings, but like we don't want them to judge us. We don't want them to feel like they're not important. And all that's valid, but like we can still be direct and say things to protect ourselves.
Yes. All right. So now we're going to get in, like we've talked about the problem. Yes. And I think we all agree. People
we're the problem.
Yes, say the thing. So let's talk about, do you have any qualifiers to saying yes to? I know we've kind of sprinkled it in, but also I want to get some cheat codes from people out there in the Omniverse. And I want to remind you guys, we got about 14 minutes before we do the randomizer.
We're only on question 2.
Yes. Question number 2, which I don't think we're going to get to the rest of them, which is a good thing. Do you have any qualifiers to saying yes to an opportunity, partnership, or project? Like, do you have indicators? I think of them as filters. That it's like an automatic yes, or maybe not an automatic yes, but it's at least not an automatic. Rather, it's at least an automatic no. And that's the beautiful thing, right? Like I have the way I think about things, and the systems, the frameworks in my head are set up to an automatic no. And I can always go back on the no, right? And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's better than going back on a yes, because that's something that I won't do. Like unless it's a serious violation of something, if I said yes, I'm going to figure out how to do that thing, and period. But if I said no and things change, I can go back and say yeah and feel good about it. I don't feel good about turning a yes into a no. Right. And so, which is why for me, the question is set up this way. Do you have any qualifiers to saying yes to an opportunity, partnership, or project? So Jen, do you want to go first on this one?
I do. I have a couple, and it's interesting the way you explained yours, because you already know, like my default is yes. So Jennifer, I need to have some very good filters because I'll overcommit and then I'll feel like I'm not doing it justice. So for me, number one, and this is I guess I'll do the first one second, just because it's a newer thought process for me that I'm getting clear on. So I'll say, I say yes if, like, number one, the person, the ask I have a relationship with, and 2, that they're aligned in my values. And so, and that doesn't mean that those yeses end up making me happy and thriving and everything's great. That is where my yes will go. And unlike you, I usually will start with the yes and I'll go through it. And then it helps me get clear on, this will never be a yes again. And so it's a little, it's the same as you, but I'll say yes if I have some clarifying, like these are, I'm okay. I'm comfortable saying yes.
Yeah.
And then when I go through it, I will take in all the data points, and then I don't have to think about it again. if it's something that like it was not a good experience. I was not, it wasn't what I expect, whatever, what all of those things are. Now, again,
Yep.
that does take a little time and it does give me another rep. And it also helps me get super clear that down the road, I don't have to go, do I want to, I don't, it's very easy because of that. So that's for me, my yeses come a little easier, but what I recently, because I said yes to some things that after the fact, I was like, I probably could have gotten away with a no and I would have been better off. But it also helped me realize, because I get asked to speak a lot, to speak in different places, because I like to share things that are important. What's important to me. And so getting super clear on, I like to serve. I want to help this industry be better. And the emotional part of leadership and the emotional part of how we connect with people and how we culturally do better, to serve people is the things that are important to me. If an ask doesn't fall in that bucket, number one, it's not an automatic yes. And number two, I have now a list of clarifying questions to get clear on what is the ask, what's the lift, and what's the output going to be. Because if it is not aligned with that value and mission, then I can get you connected to someone else. So that's I'm not the person that's probably going to represent you the best. Let me get you connected to someone over here in innovation, or someone in technology, or somebody that's in the field, or somebody that is really, whatever those things are, let me get you connected to someone that I feel would be better for what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I love it. So folks, if you didn't catch it, and more like specifically, if you're in the yes to everything and I hate my life box, what Jen just described, expect it. Like if you were always saying yes, or if you never say no, it's not like you could just turn the switch on. Like I'm there now because I did a lot of these things a long time ago. But evaluate how you feel after you do perform the thing you committed to.
Yeah.
That's where your parameters, your qualifiers are hidden. Yep. So after the experience, if it was an amazing experience, what made it amazing? Put those on the list. These are the qualifiers. These are things that I want to say yes to. And if it sucks and you're pissed and you're irritated, took way more effort than you expected it to take, that's the other list of, okay, next time I need to verify or qualify this in some way, like you do your own thing, so that you can get clearer about what the hell you're saying yes to and what you're committing to. And so for me, go ahead, Jen.
I want to add and if someone is complaining to you over and over and over again about those experiences, call them out. And tell them, like, yes, I hear everything you're saying. Why did you do it? And what's going to keep you from doing it again? Because Jesse's done that to me several times. That's helped me get super clear on, because I wasn't clear when I made the commitment. And so he forced me because he called it out. Jennifer, you're complaining about this. You said yes. What's the fix for next time?
Yes. Okay.
Totally. What's your answer?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give two examples. One very simple and one more complex. And I'm gonna celebrate our sister Megan on the second one. And so here's a simple, hopefully I'm gonna put this out there so that people can maybe get their head wrapped around it. It might help some people get their head wrapped around it. So for example, when people recommend books to me, and we roll with some ballers, right? And people are always reading and self-development, all these other things. And there was a period of time in my life where somebody would recommend a book and I would read it and it sucked. I'm like, that was a waste of time, right? And I, don't get me wrong, it's not like I read the whole book. If I'm 15 minutes in and it ain't giving me nothing, I'm out. I'm done. And what'd you think about the book? It's like, 15 minutes is what I can speak to because I didn't take the rest of it in. And so to save me that 15 minutes times whatever number of recommendations, I have a filter. Number one, if they recommended a book or even a movie to me before and it was a bomb, I am not taking their recommendation ever again, which takes me to number two. I will ask, what was the big idea? What was the thing in the book that changed the way you operate, and how are you applying the things you got out of the book?
You don't ask them if they've read it?
No, I don't give a shit if you like. I mean, because for real, here's the thing: is when I ask those questions, it's like, well, it was a good book. Like, okay, I'm not reading for entertainment, right? I have a mirror for entertainment. I don't need to read books to be entertained. What did you get out of it, and how are you using it? If there's no answer to that, I'm not going to bother with the book. So I share that example because it's a very like low complexity situation that helps me like protect my time and honor myself. Now, the more complex, we'll say filters or qualifiers. Man, we got so many good comments. Megan. So I'm going to flash Megan's comment here. She says, I talked myself into the idea that saying yes isn't that bad just yesterday, because I realized that some of the most amazing things have come from the yeses I didn't want to give. But I think that's an excuse that makes me feel better about my real inability to actually say no.
Same, girl.
Truth,
Same.
I agree, right? There are, you're going to miss some opportunities, straight up. I said, defaulting to no, there's going to be some opportunities you miss. And I have decided that I'm okay with that. That's what happens with no. You're going to miss some opportunities. And that's life. Now, one of my qualifiers is people, right? It's not necessarily the thing. I mean, the thing usually will inform, but for me, it's more like, what are the type of people? So with Megan and Converge Construction Conference, right? This is the third year she's going to be doing it, next year in June in Chicago. When she started talking about it the first time, I didn't know her as well as I know her now, but I knew that she's for real. Like, she's a make it happener. She does things. She takes action on things. And so when I'm getting invited to something or looking to participate in something, I am looking for people that are going to do work. They're going to put work into making things happen. If you're a make it happener, the likelihood of me saying yes to your thing is very, very high. So what does that leave out? The idea fairies. Idea fairies, I ain't got time, because they got a million ideas. They're not going to put in the time to operationalize the idea. They're going to be irritated with the outcome because they suck at articulating what it is they actually want to produce. I don't have time to be playing with that, right? The other ones are like the orchestra directors. They want a thing, but they're not going to put work in. They're just going to say, oh, well, you should call and you should, and delegate and delegate and delegate and delegate. And not to say I like delegation is a master power, but if I'm going to get involved in something with somebody and they're like a master delegator, like, I'm not your laborer, bro. Like, if you need somebody else to do that. And so for me, the real easy filter or qualifier is, if I'm going to say yes to something like significant, it's going to be with people that make shit happen. You could see it, right? The way they behave, the way they show up on LinkedIn or social media. If they put work into making things happen and bring ideas to life, and the way they show up on on a regular basis is going to inform me whether it's a yes or a no. If you're a flake, wishy-washy, and don't have endurance, and like the way I interpret it is like, oh, you're in as long as things are smooth. But when things get hard, you're going to be half in. And when they get harder, you're going to be out. And I understand, like, well, it wasn't worth my time. The ROI is not where it was. I get that. But if I've given any of my time to help you or support your idea, and then you bail on it, all of the time I gave you is wasted. And I am not okay with that, right? I get you have different priorities and all this other crap, but I'm not okay with giving my time away for somebody that can't get it across the finish line. So for me, number one qualifier is make it happeners, period. Is that too muddy, Jen?
No, in one, you made it very clear that on even just how we're able to still interact with each other is because, like, we both know that when we're not just talking, we're actually doing stuff. So, and to me, that goes back to the body of work of somebody, like, yes, the body of work. So we can dig into that. The other is like, you need to know the person that you're interacting with. So, and those of you that don't spend a lot of time with me, there are a couple of things that if once you do, you'll realize. Like, I don't BS around time. Like, there's no negotiables on if you want my time and I make the time to commit to you. Like, I have made that time commitment for you. When you don't show up, when you are late, like, it changes my commitment the next time. So, and that's like, and people know, people that know me, like when we're about to start a class, okay, because we know you're going to start at 8. Like, they know this is going to, like, that is just one of the things that's important to me because I want to be respectful of the people that are there. There's no non-negotiable. So if you schedule time with me and you don't show up, or 5 or 10 minutes later you're rolling in because something carried over and there was no communication, please understand you will not get the same courtesy the next time.
10-4 on that, 100%. And so one thing I want to point out, and Brian, I really appreciate you kind of putting this in my head, is a lot of what we're talking about, I know is going to, maybe a lot of what I'm talking about is going to make people say like, man, you're such a jerk, right? You're so rigid and you have all these rules and whatever. I get it. Like, you're right. But the reason the rules are in place is so that I can have really meaningful, deep connection interactions with the people that are in front of me all the time. And so Rodney kind of reinforces that with his point, saying in our field where it's be done, be done, be done, it's good to hear from people sometimes that they want to focus time with you. So I'm okay when people say, let's plan a time together, right? And I'm going to add to that is when we give people 100% of our attention, we provide them with an unforgettable experience, a real human interaction that is freaking rare right now.
Yes.
And so if I'm an aspiring up and comer and I'm saying yes to everything, I'm scattered and running and rushing and to check all the boxes and do all the things. So what does that mean? Is when there was an opportunity to have like a real meaningful conversation with somebody with influence, I couldn't do it because I was distracted. I was typing, oh yeah, like that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then they say we're on the other end of the spectrum, or I'm running a business, or I'm in sales. And when I have a real meaningful, fully present conversation and form some connection with the client, the prospect, they don't forget me. So there's tremendous value in it. Like all the rules that I have create the conditions for me to be present and give. I'm not going to say my stuff is the best, but it's the best I got. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to give that all the time. Is that now?
That it's all the things we've talked about, Jesse. It's we want to create and make those conversations meaningful. And we want it to be the best experience. And one thing that I hear, and it validates what we're saying right now. When I talk to people, just whether I haven't seen them in a while, I run across them, they say, Jennifer, when I interact with you, I feel like I'm the only person in the room.
Yes.
And again, that's validating because that's my goal. But like, it means that I'm giving them the time, the focus, the attention that they've earned. It's like, let's be real. Like, yes, they're wanting some of our time, but they're also like, we have to respect them. And if they're making the effort, like, they've earned the focus, the attention, and the time for us to be able to not be scattered and to not be distracted and, to not feel like, okay, I got my hands in a couple of different things, because those experiences are so memorable that they will be the ones following up later. Hey, I'd love to touch base. Like, again, when you create those memorable, even if it's like you said, that in the past, hey, I want to spend time with you. This connection is important to me. And right now, there's no way I can give you the focus I need to. Let's schedule some time. Like, that still validates that they're important.
Yes. All right, Jen, you think we're ready for the randomizer?
We have so many new names. Like, I know we saw no blue hearts today. So those of you that jumped in after the fact, this is your first time chiming in on the chat, if you'll put a blue heart, just because it gives us records on stuff. But literally, we have so many new people today that I'm so excited.
Yes, drop a blue heart so that we know to swarm you and connect and support as we go into the future.
Yes.
And it is time for the randomizer. All right. I don't like this layout. Let me find the one I like. There's the one I like. All right, here we go. Oh, Megan Shapiro. All right, Miss Megan, you're gonna get an invite. So be ready to come and hang out with the cultivation crew and the emotional bungee jumpers. Um, oh my goodness, we have so many good comments out there. We didn't get to the third or the fourth question, Jen.
Maybe we'll leave it with them when we wrap up. Maybe
Yeah, that's a
maybe
good
we'll
call.
leave
Good
one
call
up.
there.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, look at this, Jen. Maggie is telling me that I'm the most present person she's ever met.
Well, I've
Hands
met
down.
her in person, so I'm going to go ahead, and it was awesome because there's a common denominator. So her nephew works for us, and so he kind of got us connected, Steven Anderson, and when I met her, she was like, Steven said that once we get together, we're completely our energies, everything else. And then when we got together, it was like kapow. And so it was amazing to spend time with her. But too, we were just like we need to be able to spend more time together. So thank you, Maggie. That was a huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're coming up on time. There's a couple comments that I want to make sure. I mean, there's a lot of comments, but
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure we touch on this one because it kind of summarizes and reinforces the whole thing here. Miss Yuri Salgado, she says, yes, it really comes down to give and receive 100%. A new style of leadership I've been exploring in my current role compared to where I was before. Focusing on the brief availability for a few minutes, 5 max, then introducing flexibility later helps reassure everyone and builds confidence. It lets both sides know that we'll have enough time to talk through everything thoroughly, making sure all points are clear and understood, right? Like 100%. Because if you're rushed, everybody's going to miss something and it's going to contribute to a less than awesome experience, right? And I'm going to say it like it's a discipline. It's not easy to say no. It's tough. But what's the intended outcome? Do I want people to like me and feel like I was Mr. Polite all day to everybody? Or do I want to have real, lasting, meaningful impact? For me to have the impact that I want to have, I got to say no to things, period. Like to major opportunities. One more point that I'm going to add that, oh, look at that. We got Mr. Lance versus, yes, Yuri. That maybe a step 2 or step 3 for folks. Like if you're early and new on this no phase or having parameters to what you say yes to, is for me, the number one key was getting clear on how I best serve, which is a big thing. And so to the point of like corporate career stuff, there were tracks that they had me on to have like national responsibility with an organization or go take on enterprise responsibility with another organization, which are really fancy, sexy things. But I knew those jobs, the responsibility of that work took me away, made it harder for me to do the things that I get fulfillment from, that I believe I'm specifically designed to facilitate and deliver. And so because of that, it was easy for me to say, thank you, but that's not what I want to do. And of course they're like, what the hell's wrong with you? I was like, you're right. It's amazing. I'm not mad at you. That's not what I want. It is not. Like back to the people thing. There's a lot of, what Maggie said it, right? There's a lot of idea fairies up there. A lot of idea fairies and opinionators, right? There's not a lot of make it happeners up there at that level. And that ain't the type of people I like to roll with. And the amount of time I'm going to be spending doing all of that, whatever that is going to take me away from serving in the way I prefer to serve. So yes, I turned down some pretty freaking amazing jobs So, and in exchange for like massive fulfillment in my life, Jen. What do you think?
It's good. So I know you're going to share some stuff for the after party. So
Yep.
I'm gonna wrap up some. I'm gonna make a point, and then also it's another cheat code I think that we don't realize is I think sometimes we get asks and we think we are the only person in the world that can do this, and I am the only person that they've asked. And if I don't say yes, then we're letting an entire industry down. And so I want to make it clear that some ways to like filter out, like, am I really the person, or did they send this to 10, 15 people and whoever gets back first? So one thing that I've been able to get super clear on over the last couple of years is I can't travel 4 weeks out of the month. I can't be away from my family multiple, that much and still feel like I'm doing what I need to do and be present everywhere I'm supposed to be. So what I've been able to get super clear on is I will travel 2 weeks out of the month. And I'm not gone the whole week, but I will make commitments where I have to travel 2 weeks out of the month. And so once I put this in place, and somebody needs something, I lock it in. Somebody else needs something, I say yes. Those 2 weeks are done. The other 2 weeks get blocked out. I do not travel. So if you have an ask, Jesse, and you need something from me, and I go, I would love to, my availability is these weeks in January. It happens so quick. They're like, oh, yeah, that's okay. I'll just go with someone else. I don't have to say no.
Yes.
Because I'm clear on my parameters and when I can do things. And because the asks, there's a lot of them. And so I have to balance that. But once I protect the things that I need time to work too, but once I protect that, some of that stuff filters on its own. And some of it you'll get, but you'll get the layers of how important it is, how it needs to happen. But just put some very, very basic, they're very basic parameters that once my 2 weeks of travel get locked in, the other 2 weeks get blocked out. So then my availability gets pushed out based on travel. And that has been an amazing filter for me because I know the importance of things and I know also the unimportance of things.
Yeah. Again, but it's like, it sounds complicated, but it took some time for you to get there, to get clear about whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so that, like, maybe let's step it down for our people.
Yep.
It's going to take, like, if you haven't been playing this game in that way, like saying no and getting clear about what your parameters are, it's going to take time for you to figure out what that looks like.
Yes.
And once you start getting clarity about what's out of bounds and what's in bounds, it's going to take reps to get comfortable with it because it's scary, right? Catastrophizing, and it's going to take reps to get good at it.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing that because, we're high performers and it's very like, oh man, I suck at it. It's like, okay, just start doing the freaking thing. It's going to be wonky. It's going to be weird. I mean, hell, it would be, and you could tell them, Jesse said, I said, if you give a yes, because it's kind of like your knee-jerk reaction to always give yeses, and then you say, oh shit, I shouldn't have given that yes, you get a pass to say, hey, Jess, I know I told you yes about this thing, but I'm going to need some time to chew on it because I was just so excited to work with you. Or, I mean, of course you're going to tell me that, but whoever it is that you're giving the unfiltered yes to, it's okay to go back and say, hey, I got caught up in the moment. I need some time to evaluate. Like, the point is, start building that muscle so that, again, this isn't about, if you're not going to pay me $10,000 an hour, I ain't got time for you. This is not that conversation. This is about taking care of you so that you can show up with the best that you got. This is about you serving the person in front of you to the degree that to the highest degree that you possibly can. It's going to require some no's. It's a little stinky for some of us. So start getting the reps in. What do you think, Jen?
And we're going to screw up. Like as much as Jesse and I are up here talking about all of our cheat codes and how we figured things out, we still go, oh, like, dang it.
Yeah.
Work on that one. Like, I thought this was something, but it wasn't, but I'm going to follow through and I'm going to do what I need to do. But lesson learned. I don't have like a dead to me list. Jesse does, but I'm just saying there's things that like, okay, I've learned this. And so moving forward, I know what to do, but we're going to screw up. We're going to say yes, or we're going to say no to things that like, dang, that was a missed opportunity. And you can live in that what if world, or you can go, this is what I'm going to do. And then once it happens one way or the other, make adjustments and then keep moving. Cause that's where we are right now.
And I'm going to add before we walk out, I just dropped all the links to the after party. So folks, the links are in the chat. Click on the thing. We'll let you in so we can continue the conversation here. Like, what did we miss? What do we need to dive further into? And then my closing thought is this. When you are graduate, like the indicator that you have graduated and you got a good handle on this stuff is when you start creating your dead to me list. And if you want to know what that is, maybe we'll talk about it on the after party, but hit me up because I've had a dead to me list for over 10 years. And it's probably exactly what it sounds like.
So Jesse, really quick, we have a lot of people today that I don't know if I've ever seen before. So if you are on today, we do an after party, which is just, there's a link, you click on it, you don't have to turn your camera on, but Jesse and I have done a lot of talk today. We get a lot of airtime during this time. So for that after party, you can come off mute and you can talk and share your takeaways from today or any additional conversations or observations. And so we kind of get to listen to you and we get to continue this conversation. So that's what the after party is. You can click on it, join, and just share your thoughts.
Yes. And Mike, thank you for Mike Chili Childs says discipline equals freedom. I agree 1,000 mazillion %. So apply some discipline, get some reps in. If you're available, rather, if it's a hell yes to come to the after party, do it. If it's a, that'll be fine, don't do it. Go do your other stuff. It's okay. Like, I love you for saying no. All right, Jen, hit the music. It's time for the dance off.
Are you ready?